Okay. So we move on to chapter 7, which is Jnana Vijnana Yoga. So it is knowledge of the absolute. So, seventh chapter, Bhagavad Gita. Now, what is the nature of Krishna consciousness? Here in this chapter, Krishna is going to explain the nature of Krishna consciousness, right? All his opulences. He is going to tell how he manifests such opulences. It is all described very nicely over here. And then we will also get to know about the four kind of unfortunate people who take to Krishna consciousness and unfortunate people who don't want to take to Krishna consciousness. So we see both kinds of people over here, four of this kind and four of that kind, right? We have done, so far we have done Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Yesterday we did Ashtanga Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. Today we are going to do Jnana Vijnana Yoga. That is absolute, knowledge of the absolute. So there are always two types of knowledge, Jnana, two types of knowledge. What is one is? One is spiritual knowledge that we all know. It is permanent. It's not going to end. And one is material knowledge that we go to college and get all the knowledge. That is temporary. Like even if we have studied the school, the college, the university, we go till doctor level, we do everything. Even the doctors and engineers, everything we do. But once we die, all this knowledge is not carried on to the next life, right? It becomes zero, completely zero. Because in next life, what happens? You are born as a baby, and then you are again learning A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, and all that. So you are not carrying on that PhD or your medicine or your engineering degree with you. That becomes completely zero. So that is why that knowledge is called temporary. It's material knowledge, right? Apara vidya. And the apara vidya, and then spiritual knowledge is there, second knowledge, which is that you're now learning Bhagavad Gita. Whatever you shlokas you are learning, whatever you are learning in this life, whatever spiritual life, whatever you are leading this life, it will never ever diminish. It will not become zero. You will, in the next life, whatever living entity you take, especially the human entity, then you will continue to from where you stopped. It's not going to start from zero. That's why you can always notice a 3-year child fluently reciting Bhagavad Gita, and we are overwhelmed, we are astonished, we are wondering how this child knows, how this child is able to learn. It is not this life. It is coming from the past life. That is why that knowledge is called Paravidya. It is above everything, right? So, but what happens is for some material desires, what do? We surrender to the Devatas. We surrender to celestial gods. And what do celestial gods do? They give us temporary happiness, temporary results, because we ask for temporary material prosperity. मुझे ये दे दो, कार दे दो, घर दे दो, job दे दो, whatever. But even the devatas have limited power because they get their power from Krishna. So the Krishna says, best is to surrender to me. Why you want to go? Why you want to hold your nose like this? Why not just hold directly? Right? So if Krishna further confirms in this chapter that he is the ultimate truth and he is the highest authority. What is the name of chapter 7?
Knowledge of the absolute.
Correct. Okay. Please raise your hands, those who want to read the translation, so you can get chance one by one. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Jnasasi Tachruno. Yes, Kirti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Now hear, O son of Pritha, Arjuna, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. At the end of 6th chapter, what did Lord Krishna say? He said Krishna consciousness, the highest yoga, right? So Lord here is telling Arjuna, Tachruno, Arjuna, Tachruno, listen to me. Shruno, Shruno means listening. So there is no one greater than Krishna. So one who gets the privilege of hearing from Krishna himself, you can imagine. So there is no doubt that he will become Krishna conscious, right? So we should learn from either Krishna himself or from a pure devotee of Krishna. In Bhagavad Purana, what is it written? That once we develop this bhakti, devotion, we are free from these modes of Rajoguna, Tamoguna at least. We move on to, we stop running after these material things. our greed, our desires, wants automatically starts reducing. And the moment these pollution, this contamination is removed, what happens? We slowly move on to the mode of goodness. And then once we are in this mode of goodness, we receive that energy, that we receive the energy through bhakti, through devotion. And slowly we come to know God element, Bhagavad Tattva. We come to understand Krishna completely. Hare Krishna. How can we know Krishna in full, free from doubt?
By practicing yoga in full consciousness. Bhakti.
Naitra Mataji is super, huh? Hare Krishna. Okay, let's see Lord and his incarnations who are free from imperfections. Let's start with picture number 1. Picture number 1.
Matsya Avataram,
2.
Kurma Avataram,
3.
Varaha Avataram,
Aishwarya Mataji, full on. 4.
Narasimha
Narasimha.
5.
Vamana.
Vamana,
Ramana Avatara. 6.
Parasurama,
7.
So,
Buddha. Rama.
Balarama,
Rama. Lord
Rama
Rama.
Avatar.
You can see
Cannot
the
see
bones,
properly.
right?
Could not see properly.
Yeah. 8.
Krishna,
Krishna.
9.
Balarama.
Buddha,
The 9 is Buddha, sorry.
10.
Buddha.
Kalki.
Kalki.
Kalki Avatar. Lord and his incarnations. Very nice. Okay. So we need Shravanam in order to get the knowledge. How do we get the knowledge? Number 1 of 9 processes of devotional services, Shravanam. So Shravanam means hearing, through hearing. So there are many ways of acquiring knowledge. The first one is through hearing. But people think from essay, I can read on my own, I can understand everything, like by ascending process. For example, science to some level, by discovering what is already there, it exists, right? There are many defects if we go by ascending process. We need faith. That's the essential ingredient, right? So we need to go descending, disciplic parampara, we have to go through disciplic succession, not ascending order, but descending order. Because why? Because our senses are not perfect. Very limited senses we have, right? Science itself is imperfect because it is also based on humans. Humans are who are doing all the research work, right? And we have those imperfections. We have our own limitations. We have tendency to make mistakes. We have imperfect senses. We have cheating propensities. We are completely in illusion. So because we are imperfect, what should we do? We should ask, we should consult, we should take the advice from some perfect authority, right? Even in your life, if you come across some problems, you should go to a perfect authority. Then only you will get the correct advice. Like, for example, you can see from this side, you can see the apple in the mirror is complete. That's illusion, because on the other side, it has been bitten, it has been eaten, partially eaten. So this is illusion that we have. We can't see completely. And then, of course, we have this cheating propensity, right? So science is imperfect as it is based on humans who have limitations. So what do we need to have? Faith. Like, for example, when you are going for an operation for anything, you are giving your life, your body, your everything to the doctor. You have faith in him. Otherwise, why will you get it done? Even when they are prescribing you tablets and all, it's because of faith you're eating. Even when you're sitting in a bus or a plane or a train, you have complete faith on the driver. You have to have, otherwise you won't sit. Even when you go to a barber, you get your hair cut, you are having faith in him. So we have to invest our faith, right? When we have invested our faith in that, we must invest our faith in our authority also. So we need to go through descending process, receive knowledge from the authority, parampara. We need to have faith, first of all. So in order to nurture back, we have to nurture the faith back in our scriptures. We have lost the faith in our scriptures. So we have to nurture it back. When we have faith on doctors, medicine, bus drivers, and barbers, why can't we have faith in our scriptures, which have been so ancient? It has been eroded centuries and centuries of abuse and exploitation. Nobody is scared about our scriptures. So we have to bring back that faith. and nurture our faith into it. So the descending process is the right process because we receive knowledge from parampara, from authority. Let's move on. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshamya sheshatah yajñatva neha bhuyo nyat jnatavyam avashishyate. Aishwarya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge both phenomenal and numinous, by knowing which there shall remain nothing further to be known. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what does Krishna want to explain? He wants to explain the system of knowledge to Arjuna, because Arjuna is his friend, his devotee, his confidential friend and devotee. Now here saying, what is jnana? I shall declare in full this knowledge. What is this knowledge? This knowledge, jnana means knowledge. Jnanam teham. So jnanam is knowledge. How do we learn this knowledge? We usually, when we are learning something and we are trying to gain knowledge, we use our mind, we use our eyes, senses and all that. And then we use our intelligence, intellect also. Then only we get the knowledge in us, right? It goes inside us. Now, what is vijnana? Jnanam teham savijnanam. Vijnan means what? Wisdom. So wisdom, how do we get wisdom? It is the knowledge, whatever we are getting the knowledge, we apply, we use through spiritual practice. Knowledge we get. Then we have to apply also, right? We use some experiential realizations we get. Then you say, yes, I got that knowledge and now I have applied and I can experience it. That's Vijnana. So Jnana is knowledge and Vijnana is what you do in the science lab. You do the experiment, right? That's science. Vijnana, wisdom. For example, if you see honey jar, honey is kept in a sealed jar. Okay, that example can be given over here to explain honey in a sealed jar. So what happens? We have heard that honey has sweetest taste. It is very good. It cannot be compared to any other sweet. It has the sweetest taste ever. But unless and until we open the jar and we taste it, right? Unless and until we taste it, we will not get that experiential realization of sweetness. So knowing that honey is sweet, very sweet, and it's sweetest of all is knowledge. The moment we taste that honey, it is vijnana, that wisdom, that yes, it is. So we are experiencing it. We get through experience that we understand. Similarly, what happens? Guru. What does Guru do? He gives us knowledge. He's telling us it's theoretical knowledge of the scriptures. He'll say, these are the shlokas, this is the meaning, this is what it is, you have to understand. But you need to practice, you need to do sadhana. Whatever jnana that you have received from the Guru, you have to use it. You have to use it in daily practice. You have to put it in daily practice. That will purify your mind, right? Only then the vijnana, the wisdom, the knowledge that you're getting through self-realization, that will be attained completely. So in this verse, what Lord Krishna is trying to explain or confirm to Arjuna is that he is going to impart, he is going to give all the theoretical knowledge to Arjuna about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He will also illuminate his mind about the vijnana or the wisdom he is going to give. Jnana, he is going to give vijnana also to Arjuna. But once that knowledge is acquired, there will be nothing much to tell. There is nothing much that Arjuna needs to understand, right? So let's see what Krishna talks about spiritual perfection in the next slide. Okay. So Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidyatiti siddhaye yatamapi siddhanam kaschinmam veti tatpatah. Aishwarya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you look at the picture. Now, according to the picture, what is happening? First picture, what is happening? Picture number 1 on the top.
There is a marathon.
The beginning of the race.
Correct. Many people are running, right? So do you think all those who are running in this marathon will reach the finish line together?
No.
No, right? So only one person will be able to come to the finish line, mostly 99%, right? 99.9%. One person reaches. Others will stop in between. They will get tired. Some will give up. Some will move. Some will go slow. Some will go at their own pace. So Srila Prabhupada explains in his purport. He says, out of thousands of men, thousands of human beings, it is probably a very rare person who is interested in knowing what is soul, what is body, what is the ultimate truth. Very few people have. And human beings, generally what happens, they are engaged in these animal instincts. What are these animal instincts? They are busy thinking about food, their sleep, their fear, and hardly there is any person who is interested in divine knowledge, right? So we have understood that Krishna is the cause of all causes. We know that. We know from Brahma Samhita also. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. He is Sarvakarana Karanam. We know Krishna is cause of all causes. But non-devotees, it will be very difficult for them to understand, to grasp that, because they can never understand that Krishna as Yashodanandan, Krishna as Parthasarathi, who is the charioteer of Arjuna. Oh, he is the Lord. How can he be? So non-devotees, they get confused about Krishna. Even the deities get confused. The great deities, Muhyanti Yat Suryaha. So how even the perfected souls are unable to understand or know God. So the reason is that if there is no loving devotion, no bhakti, it's not possible to realize Lord Krishna. But those who are practicing like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, they will not understand or know God unless they include bhakti or devotion in their practice. They have to ultimately include devotion in whatever you are doing. So Lord Krishna is stating over in this verse that one among many, many, many numerous human beings, they know him in truth. So Lord Krishna stated this fact many times in Bhagavad Gita. You can refer to it. Many, many chapters he has referred. He said in chapter 8, he has said that I remember, Purusha Saparav Partha Bhaktya Labhyasto Nanyaya, means he is Lord is greater than all. He is attainable by unalloyed devotion. He has expressed many, many times. Even chapter 11, when we come across, we will see Bhaktya Tvananyaya Shakya Ahamevam Vidho Arjuna. He says, my dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service will anybody will understand me. In 18th chapter also, he goes on continuously saying, Bhaktya Mama Bijanati Yavan Yashtasmi Tatpataha. One can only understand me as Supreme Personality of Godhead only by devotional service. So many times Krishna has said, what more proof do we need? What more proof? So let's see what he describes about the material dimensions. So these are his material dimensions. Let's see. Yes, Sonali Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 comprise my separated material energy.
Hare Krishna. So you can see the soul is inside completely, right? It is covered by what? The intelligence, then mind, another layer of ego, and then on the top we have the gross body. The gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, right? So this is the matter. The gross body is matter, and it is also the part of God's energy only. This gross thing is also the matter is also part of God energy. It's called Prakriti. It is further divided into 8 forms. The body is made up of 5 elements. We have seen earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So fire, earth, water, fire, air, and ether are called gross elements. Then we also have the 3 inside ones, the ego, the mind, and the intelligence, right? All these 8 together, these 5 and these 3 together are the material energies of the God. Mind, intelligence, ego go with the soul. These 3 go with the soul. Wherever the soul is going to take next birth, this mind, ego, and intelligence goes with the soul. That is why it is very important for us to purify our mind, not have any ego, use our intellect properly, what is right and wrong, because these 3 go with the soul. That is why it is very important that we are very careful about what we think and what we do, because it goes with the soul. The body that we are taking care of by doing all kinds of makeup, by wearing everything and taking care, it is good. We health-wise, we should take care of the body, but we take too much care of the body. That is not going with us. The three things that are going to go with the soul, and the soul, we don't take care of that, right? So that's called the subtle body. So you can see that in the screen, right? Subtle body. Then in this verse, what Lord Krishna is mentioning is the 8 elements. They are simply parts of Maya, right? There's material energy. Next, what he is going to tell about is superior energy. This is the material energy. Let's see the superior energy. Yes, Aishwarya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Besides this inferior nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is superior energy of mind, which are all living entities who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So now he has already explained eightfold Prakriti, right? The material energy. He says that's inferior. There is another far more superior. What is that? This energy is transcendental as compared to the lifeless matter. The body without the soul is lifeless, right? So what is the life in it? The spiritual energy is what? The Jiva Shakti, the soul. It includes all the living souls in the world. That is the spiritual energy, because matter, the body is lifeless. Unless and until the spiritual energy, the soul goes into it, till then this is lifeless matter, right? So what have we understood so far? There are 3 entities in the existence. What is that? Matter, the gross body, the body which is perishable, which is going to go away once we die. And then the soul, which is imperishable. It never dies. You cannot cut it. It will never die. And then, of course, God, who is the controller of both the matter, the body, and the soul. So by meditating upon God, by thinking about God, we can become more like him, right? And then soul will be free from this Maya or illusion if we constantly keep thinking about God. So the takeaway here is, every time I feel is, whenever I see this shloka, is that we have come from Krishna. So we must follow Krishna, right? Whoever we have come from, we should try and to follow that perfect person. Yes, please. Sonali Mataji.
Of all this, all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both its origin and dissolution.
So now you can see in the picture, there's so many bubbles over here, so many bubbles over here, right? You can see that. Numerous universes, they are just numerous, so many universes. Ours is just one of them. So everything that is existing is a product of matter and spirit. It's just a matter of spirit. So living beings are what? They are made up of God's 2 energies. Jiva Shakti, the sentient soul energy, the soul, and the Maya, the insentient. Insentient means what? It is inanimate, it is lifeless. Material energy, matter. So in this material realm, all life, whatever you see in this life, whatever living entity you are seeing, it's a combination of both, the matter and the soul. So the matter, the body itself is it's lifeless. It has nothing in it. And the conscious soul needs a body. The soul is conscious, it's spiritual energy, it is conscious, but it also needs some body to carry it, right? So both come together to form a living being. This much we have understood. So now the material body, how is it developed? It's developed because spirit soul is present in it. If you remove the material body, the body will not grow. So what is the symptom? That you have a spirit soul in the body. The child grows gradually to boyhood, and then from there he goes to teenage, and then adulthood and old age, so far and so, right? So that's the superior energy. The soul is present. That is why the body is growing. If you remove the soul, body will not grow. That's the symptom of it. We are the living entity. We can go ahead, and right now we can build so many houses. You can build a huge factory. You can build a multi-story building also. But can you be the cause of this whole big universe? No one. No human entity can do that, right? So there is somebody who is the cause of making this whole universe. Somebody has made this. So it has to be a bigger soul, somebody who is big, or the super soul, right? So the cause is some big soul, some super soul. Krishna, the supreme, he is the cause of big and small souls. So let's see the next one. Mataji, read please.
O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to everything. Everything rest upon me as pearls are strung on a thread.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
So matta paritaram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana eva. So Lord Krishna is telling in this shloka is that his position is supreme in this universe because he is the one who has created, he is the one who is maintaining, he is the one who is going to annihilate the whole thing. Like how he's the analogy that is given over here is like the bead, the pearls are strung on a thread. So let's see the pearls. These pearls are strung on the thread. So the beads, they are strung in a thread, but it can move in its own place. Similarly, God has given individual souls the free will to act. We have got the free will, right? We have got that independence to choose what we want. Yet we are still bound within. We are still in that. Our existence is bound within it. He has given us little freedom to take some choices, right? So what, for example, let's say this mala, I have Japamala over here. So Japamala is here. Now these are all beads, right? So these beads are there, but it has been strung in a thread. Now just because the thread cannot be seen, does it mean that the beads are, the thread is not there? Is the thread there or not there?
The thread
Something is
there.
holding the beads, right? What is holding the bead?
Thread.
Thread, right? So something is holding it, right? It is a thread, but can you see the thread over here? You cannot see the thread. You can see only the beads over here, but you can move the beads in its own place. Thread is there. Otherwise, what will happen if the threads are all taken off?
Beads will fall off.
Beads will scatter, fall away, separate, right? Same way, someone is holding the universe together. Somebody is making sun to rise, moon to rise, sun to set, moon to set. Someone is keeping all the planets in its own place. There is somebody who is doing it. There is someone greater who is doing it, but we cannot see him because we don't have the quality to see him. We don't have that jnana chakshu. We don't have that spiritual eyes to see him. So thread is broken. The whole thing will be completely scattered. Same way, Krishna is not there, then everything will scatter. Just because we cannot see him does not mean he is not there, right? Like for example, on a cloudy day, sun is there, but it's covered with clouds. Does it mean that sun is not there? It is there or not there? It is there, but we cannot see. We cannot see. Same way, Krishna is there. But if you want to see Krishna, you need to have love for Krishna. The moment you have love for Krishna, you can see it. Like anyone, the topmost person in your university, your job, your factory, or your office is the CEO or the dean or whoever it may be, right? So in your office, the CEO or the owner is there. Is there anybody superior to him? No, he is the topmost, right? Similarly, is there anybody superior or equal to Krishna? No, nobody is above him. So we have to understand that we have to improve our vision, our sight. How to improve that? We have to do Shravanam. Keep listening. Listening to what? To the unseen. We have to understand. We have to try and listen to what Bhagavad Gita is saying, what we are trying to understand. Because just because we should not try to see God, but we should try to do our work, our sadhana in such a way that God himself will want to see. Kaun hai bhai, ye itna sadhana kar raha hai, let me see. Like Dhruva Maharaj, he did so much of penance, so much of tapasya, that all the devatas went to God and said, something is happening to this whole world. This small little 5-year-old boy is doing so much tapasya. God had to come and see who is that, right? So when we go to the temple also, We are all standing in a line and wanting to see the God, and we are pushing each other and trying to say, "Mera, mujhe please, bhai sahab, aage hatna. I want to see the God as well." And we are running around, moving and pushing each other just to see the God, right? Well, we want to see the Lord, yes. But does Lord want to see us? Is the question we have to ask ourselves. So instead of pushing our way in the temple or in front just to go and see the God, we should work in devotion with in that, so much of bhakti should be there, so much of surrender attitude should be there towards the Lord, that Lord may want to see. Even if you're somewhere at the back, somehow that Pujari will make sure that you come to the front. It will happen. How it will happen, that Lord will see. So we should always work in a way that Lord wants to see us. Everybody wants to see the Lord, but does Lord want to see us? Lord will only see at his look at his pure devotee. So better to purify ourselves. Hare Krishna. Yes, please. Hare Aishwarya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
O son of Kunti, Arjuna, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon. The syllable Om in the Vedic mantra, I am the sound in ether and ability in the man. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. So now in previous words, Lord Krishna has said, he is the one who is the origin, sustainer, and annihilator of the whole thing, right? And he is the basis for all that is existing in this world. He is continuing with he is the essence of everything. Now Krishna is telling in further 4 continuous 7.8 to 7.11, he is continuously describing what he is. That I am the essence of everything is telling. So like he says he's the Om. Now we know so many mantras that start with Om, right? Can you tell any one? Which
Om
starts
Namo
with
Bhagavate
Om.
Vasudevaya.
Yes, Om Namah Shivaya, then
Om Namo Bhagavate
Om
Vasudevaya.
Bhurбhuvasvaha.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, then
Om Bhurбhuvasvaha.
Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha, yes, then
Om Yam Trambakam Yajamyaha.
yeah, so many are there. Om Ganesha and Nama, you can say, think of anything, right? So now he says he is the syllable Om in Vedic mantras. Just see over here. And when we are chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, there is no Om in it. Why? Because Krishna himself is Om. Why do we need to put Om? Om Hare Krishna, we don't need Om Krishna and Nama, we don't need in Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. He is already there. Because Hare Krishna mantra, when you count it, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, 4 times. 4 times you are already saying Hare Krishna, right? So Om, Krishna himself is Om. So we are already saying 4 times. So, and whenever you are doing Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo, everything, anything, Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha, Gayatri mantra, you cannot just chant like that, get up in the morning, sit in the bed and say Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha. No, you cannot do that. Whenever you have this pranav mantra, you always have to follow a niyama. You have to take bath and you have to be very clean. Shaucha is very important. So you have to follow many rules and regulations, take bath, follow all the niyams, right? So when it comes to Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, no need, because there is no Om in it. Krishna himself is Om. Now, he says that he is the taste of water. I am the taste of water. So we have learned in science about water, right? So water science says it is odorless, it is colorless, it is tasteless. But when here in Bhagavad Gita, Lord is saying, Raso hamapsu kaunteya, prabhasmi shashi suryayor, Raso hamapsu, I am the taste of water, he says. So that means what? Water is having taste in spiritual sense. Like when we put some solid food on our tongue, unless and until that saliva, that the water comes and falls on that food, we won't get the taste. Simply if you put anything on your tongue and not the saliva doesn't touch it, you won't get the taste of it, right? So because saliva dissolves some part of the solid, and that's when the taste buds tell you, yes, it is chili or it is sweet or whatever it is. So who can separate the taste of water from water, right? So Lord Krishna says he is the taste in water. It is the intrinsic property of water to carry the taste of all the subjects with substances Without water, there will be no taste. Like whenever you are thirsty, whatever I may offer you milk, I may offer you fruit juice, I may offer you the best of drinks. You will say, please, can I have a glass of water? Once you drink that water, that's when your thirst is quenched. And he also says that I am the light of sun and the moon. He is the essence of everything. So whenever you see sun, you see moon, you will see Krishna everywhere. He is the ultimate energy. He is the source of everything. So now we will see what all he is. So Sonali Matraji, you have to read like he is the taste in water, light in the moon and sun, Om in Vedic month, like that.
Taste in water, light in moon and sun, Om in man, fragrance on earth, heat and fire, life in all that lives, penance, all aesthetics, original seed, all existences, intelligence, intelligent, prowess in all powerful male, strength, the strong, devoid of passion and desire, sex life, not contrary to religious principles.
Yes. So we have already spoken about sun and moon and Vedic mantras and all, right? And the sound. So now when we talk about intelligence, he says intelligence, I am the intelligence among the intelligent. That is why we always wonder, right? Why some people are so intelligent, whereas we are not. We can start thinking like that. They have so much of brilliance and their ideas, their thoughts, even Einstein, it's all due to God's grace. He gives the intelligence to the intelligent. Like I always talk about the iOS that we have got, the mobile operating system. It is because of that, right? We are using all this laptop, everything, iOS system, iPhone. We are using, I'm putting good use of this iPhone towards Krishna consciousness. And even the Windows system, Windows operating system, we are able to use our laptop, right? So this is only happening because of God's plan. He gives some people that kind of intelligence so that they can do. He develops one such person's intellect that he wants, whenever he thinks that he should save us from any kind of chaos and he wants us to develop further, right? There's so many other examples also. So he says he's very serene, he's sublime, he's the strength in people. He empowers them. That is why they are very successful. They are completely successfully able to fulfill their duties and responsibilities. Even this sex life, not contrary to religious principle, is very clearly mentioned over here. Lord Krishna has mentioned that in the institution of marriage, when sexual activity is done for the sake of having procreation or baby, it should be in line with scriptural injunctions. Then it will be called virtuous. It's good. But if it is only for pleasure, beastly pleasure, then it is completely animalistic and nothing else. That Krishna has very clearly said he is sex life, not contrary to the religious principles. So we have to be, even during sex life, we should not be animalistic. So after describing all this, Lord Krishna says that it is very difficult to overcome the Maya, right? Let's see what he has to say. Devi hesha gudamai mama maya duratyaya mami vayi prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Yes, Aishwarya Mata.
This divine energy of mine consists of three modes of material nature. It's difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered onto me can easily cross beyond it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now you can see in the picture, you're drowning, for example, in a swimming pool also. If you're drowning and a lifeguard comes and saves you, how would you feel? Oh my God, thank God you saved me. You will be so thankful. You'll be so, grateful to that person. And you're drowning in an ocean and then a ship or a helicopter comes and saves you. You will be so relieved, right? That, oh my God, thank God I have survived. I have escaped the bad time. Otherwise I would have drowned. Same way, if Krishna is with us, we can cross this material ocean, material world. It's very difficult to cross otherwise. We can't cross this material ocean. But with our love, with our bhakti, with our devotion to Krishna, he will come. He will hold our hand. He will hold it so tightly and we will be able to cross the material ocean. So the doubt that we can get is, if is it that difficult to overcome Maya? Is Maya so strong? So second verse in this, it says, Maya, mameva ye prapadyante, Maya meta tarantite. So mameva ye prapadyante, Maya metam tarantite means what here? Lord Krishna is telling. Those who will surrender, mama eva, to me, ye prapadyante, who surrender to me, Maya etam tarantite. So those who surrender themselves to me, then by my grace, Mayam etam tarantite, they will be able to smoothly cross the ocean of this whole material existence or problem that we are having. Now, the usual doubts that we always get is, if it is so easy to defeat Maya, then why is it that most of us are not able to do it? Why are we so unable to defeat Maya then, if it is so easy? So what does Lord do is, he will explain in very elaborately in the next verse. You know, he says that human mind, it is influenced by Maya. So just by ourselves, we can't. For example, you read Bhagavad Gita, you open the Bhagavad Gita book and you sit and you start reading first time, for example. You go through the whole book and it just goes above your head. And after a few chapters or so, you just close the book and keep it back in the shelf. So merely by self-effort, no yogi, similarly, no yogi, no jnani, no ascetic, no karmi can successfully control the mind. Similarly. So the doubt is that if it is so, is it impossible to overcome Maya then? So what Lord says is, no, you can overcome, but you have to surrender to me, right? So, like for example, I always give this example about my friend's place. She has a dog in her place. So whenever I have to go to her place, I always think a lot of times, because I have this fear for dogs. So what do? Whenever I have to visit her, I would be very scared. I would just go near the gate and then the dog will come running, barking very loudly. Not that, you know, it's my fear only actually. But out of fear, what I would do, I would just freeze over there. I will not do anything. And then slowly it will not allow me to step into the house. Slowly, what will I do? I will call my friend. I'll say, where are you? Come on, come down. Your dog is barking. Come on, tell your dog something. You have to tell your pet something. So I have no choice, right? I have to call her out. Please come. What are you doing? Then I will shout my friend's name very loudly. So when she is hearing all this barking and me shouting, then she will come down and then she would see that I am standing at the gate like a statue, little, you know, distressed by her dog. So then she would very sternly look at the dog and say, come on, stop barking. No, she's our friend. Come on, go inside, sit. And sometimes she will put a leash also around its neck. And then, you know, on hearing her master saying all this, what will the dog do? Very quietly, she'll quiet down and slowly go inside. And then my friend would open the gate and hold my hand and go inside. And then I won't have any fear. Similarly, we are in the clutches of Maya. Maya is material energy. It is under Krishna, but it keeps troubling us. So the moment we start moving towards God, it will give us more challenges. By our own effort, we cannot defeat it. We cannot defeat Maya. So what happens? We surrender. We surrender everything to Krishna. Krishna, where are you? And by his grace, what happens? He comes, he holds our hand, and we are able to cross the material existence. Right? So let's see why, even if we are able to defeat Maya, if it is so easy, then why we are not able to defeat, and most of us fail? Because what happens is, we will read about it. Yes, Sonali Mataji.
Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me.
Yes. So why do we fail if it is so easy to defeat Maya? Lord is explaining in here. There are 4 categories of people who do not surrender to him. Namam dushkritino mudhaha prapadyante naradhamaha mayaya apahruta jnanaha asuram bhavamashitaha mudha. So the foolish, like the beasts, the you can see this beast, right? Like mudha, they are working 24/7. They are always working, labor. They do not want to part with them for the supreme. They are just working like ass, like donkey, right? So the position of foolish fruitive worker, he does not know whom he should work for. He's just working for something. He's just continuously working like that. Another class is Dushkriti. Dushkriti means what? Naradhama, miscreant, known as Naradhama. Nara Adhama. Nara means human. Adhama means lowest of mankind. So these people, they have the knowledge, they have that awareness that they need to do, but they're very lazy, very Adhama, lazy, and they do not want to take any initiative. They do not want to surrender. They don't want to do anything. Right? It's a very big pitfall for someone who is on the path of spirituality. If they're so lazy and not ready to do anything, they're completely lowest of mankind. Like in the story of Jagai and Madha, as you can see in the picture, once while chanting the name of Lord Krishna, Nityananda Prabhu, he was chanting very nicely, Hare Krishna, and he was attacked by these two, Jagai and Madha. They were completely drunk, and they threw the earthen pot towards Nityananda Prabhu. So what happened? There was a cut on his forehead. So Nityananda Prabhu, he uttered this famous sentence, which became very famous now. Mere sheesh kolshir kana tai bole ki prem debona. He says, just because you have hit me with this earthen pot, shall I stop giving you love? That's what Nityananda Prabhu said. So as soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to understand that, oh my God, these people did like that, he became very angry. He wanted to kill the brothers by his divine chakra. But Nityananda Prabhu, he stopped him and said, come on, just, let them, forgive them. And of course, later they became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disciples also because of Prabhu's compassion. So then comes the deluded intellects. Okay, Mayayapa Hritagnyana. So they are deluded intellects. They are so proud of their intellect, that they have no faith in the scriptures and any teachings of the saints also. They don't have any faith. They are unable to surrender to God because they don't have faith. What is God? Aisa to kuch hota hi nahi hai. They are like mostly very learned people, like, philosophers, poets, literate, scientists and all. They say we didn't see, we don't believe, we don't surrender. But this illusionary energy, Maya, misguides them. So they disobey the Supreme Lord. They don't want to surrender at all. And of course, then we come to the demonic. These are men in illusion, and then demonic nature. So in the demonic nature, these people who are in the demonic ones, they are completely atheist. Completely atheist. They just don't want to believe in God at all. They are so, they know, they are aware of God, right? They are aware of God, and they know the purpose for the world, what his purpose is, and they just simply want to be against God because of their demonic nature. They don't like God, and they don't like to hear the glories about God also. They themselves are very far from devotion, and then they will make sure that others are also away from devotion, right? Like what Hiranyakashipu did. He said, Prahlad Maharaj, he told everyone, all the schools should say Hiranyakashipu, they should worship Hiranyakashipu. There is no other God but Hiranyakashipu. They shouldn't worship Lord Vishnu, right? Like that, they're demonic in nature. They don't follow devotion. They don't want others also to follow any kind of spirituality. So surrender to God, it cannot be expected from them at all, like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu. So who are the 4 types of people who reject Krishna? Mudha, who are grossly foolish. Naradhama, lowest of mankind. Mayayapa, Hritagnyana, deluded speculators like philosophers, poets, scientists and all. And then Asurim Bhavam Ashritaha, professed atheists. So what do we understand from this? That if one does not have time for spirituality, then what does it mean? It means that he is busier than God. God has intended him to be busy, but he seems to be busier than what he's supposed to be, right? Then definitely it is time to introspect. Why do we not have time for spirituality? Then you have to check what mode is active, demonic or divine. So who are the 4 kinds of men who do not surrender to Krishna?
See,
Correct.
See,
Yes.
Foolish, fallen.
Yes. Now let's see who accepts Krishna, who surrender to Krishna. Let's see. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukriti norjuna arto jignyasurartharti jnani cha bharatarshava. Yes, Sonali Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Oh, based
Yes.
among the Bharatas, Arjuna.
Your
who
microphone doesn't seem to be okay, Mataji. Can you adjust
it's
your
okay.
microphone?
It's okay now.
Yes.
Oh, best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the absolute.
Yeah. Previous verse, we came to understand 4 people who do not want to surrender to Krishna. Here, 4 kind of people who take refuge in him. So they're Arth, Jignasu, Artharthi, and Jnani. So Arth means what? Distressed. Means they find that their pot of worldly miseries is overflowing. All the miseries is overflowing and they're unable to cope up with it. So they decide, okay, let me take shelter of God. Similarly, those who find the worldly support, there is no worldly support to me. Nobody is there to protect me. Nobody wants to support me. They turn to God for protection. Right? In Mahabharata, we saw Draupadi. She surrendered to Lord Krishna. When Duryodhan and Dushasan, what were they trying to do? They were trying to dishonor her in the courtroom of Hastinapur, right? So next kind of devotee is Jignasu, the knowledge seeker. The one who is very inquisitive, very curious. He's eager to advance in the process of hearing. He wants to know more. So there are some people who have heard about the opulence of God, right? They know about the spiritual realm, okay, spiritual ek realm hai karke. Then they're curious to know all about God. And then they try to understand, try to seek God through knowledge. Like Maharaj Parikshit, Abhimanyu's son. He was wanting to understand from Shukadev Goswami. He wanted to understand all about God because he had got only 7 days. But instead of thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die, he wanted to learn everything about God. That kind of great devotee he was. And there were, of course, other rishis also over there. They were all inquisitive. When Parikshit Maharaj wanted to hear about God, all the sages were very inquisitive. So the proof that they were inquisitive is that they were all sitting, they were all listening, and they were eager to hear. Like you all are sitting now. If we are all trying to understand God, so we're all sitting, we're all listening, we're all eager to hear. So that is what is inquisitiveness. Yeah, so want to know more about God. Then comes Artharthi. Artharthi means what? Somebody who wants worldly positions. They are very clear about what they want, right? And they want to take the shelter of God because they are convinced that God only can provide them what they are seeking. Here, Dhruv Maharaj's example can also be used because initially, when Dhruv Maharaj was only 5 years old, he felt neglected because his father, King Uttanpada, he was not allowing him to sit on his lap. He got very disheartened because his stepmother said, no, my son will sit. You cannot sit on your father's lap. He got very disheartened. So he went into the forest and he did all kinds of penance to please God. He wanted to become very powerful, much more powerful than his father. And as his devotion grew, he realized that God possessed the priceless jewel of devotion, of divine love. And what he was wanting was like broken glass pieces. You can't compare glass pieces with priceless jewel, diamond, right? So after, of course, Lord was very pleased with his devotion and all that. He gave him his darshan and he gave all the, whatever he asked for, he gave. But Dhruva, at the last minute, he understood the selfless, pure love, what it is. He was seeking something else. So he was Artharthi also here. Then, of course, we have Jnani. Jnani are those who are situated completely in knowledge. So they have understood what is truth. They know they are part and parcel of the Lord. Mame Vamsho Jiva Loke, like they know they are part and parcel of Lord. They are completely engaged in devotion. Their intention is that I should, my duty, eternal duty is to love and do serve him with devotional service. So Lord Krishna is putting them in this category of fourth category, that is Jnani. They are fourth kind of devotees. Like all the saints in Naimisharanya, they were, all the sages, they were headed by Shaunaka Rishi, right? They were all sitting, they were doing, everything is done for other people. They always are anxious to do good for the whole people in general as such, right? So they were all sitting in Naimisharanya, they were doing all kinds of yajnas and sacrificial ceremonies for the welfare of mankind, nothing for them. So they are completely in knowledge. So let's see the four kinds of people. Artharthi, Artha, this is Arth, the distressed. Artharthi, the desire of wealth. Jignasu, the inquisitive. And Jnani, who is searching for the knowledge of the absolute. So what we understand from here is, whether you have desire or you have no desire, at least let's worship Krishna. Which of these men go to Krishna to render service?
All of
All
them.
of the above.
Yes, all of the above, correct. So you can see, first picture here, Gajendra the elephant, he is in distress. So he's in distressed mode when he is praying to Lord. Second picture, can anyone tell? Who is that? Who is she?
Draupadi.
And
Draupadi.
which mode is that?
Draupadi.
Which mode
Surrendering
is
mode.
that? Yeah, distressed, correct.
Pandava.
Correct. And then 3, anybody knows? Shukadev Goswami. Shukadev Goswami, he was in his mother's womb, Vatika, Vedvyasa's wife, Vatika. And Shukadev Goswami was Vedvyasa's son. He stayed in her womb for 16 long years. He said, I don't want to come out because this outside is Maya. I am not coming out. And when then Lord Krishna himself came and he said, come on, don't fear. I am there. I will make sure that you are not going to be affected by Maya, is when he came out and he straight away walked into the forest. And then fourth one, what is that? Anyone?
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit
Yes,
Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj. And Sukadev Goswami was very much inquisitive. He wanted to know more. And of course, Parikshit Maharaj, he was also Jignasu, inquisitive, and he was also a little bit Jnani, also inquisitive also. Then picture number 5.
Dhruva Maharaj.
Yeah, so, and he was which mode?
He was the
Artharthi. He wanted kingdom also, right? He was distressed also. He was in problem, and then he wanted something. And then this is picture number 6 is Sugriva. Sugriva was also distressed. He wanted Lord Rama to take revenge for his with his brother Bali, right? He was in very distressed state. And then number 7 is what? Sages in Naimisharanya. They do good for everyone. So they are completely in knowledge, Jnani. Let's see the next one. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabha. Yes, Sonali Mataji. No, Aishwarya Mataji, sorry.
After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Lord Krishna, what is he declaring here? That Jnani spends lifetimes. He is cultivating a lot of knowledge. And then when his Jnana matures, then he finally surrenders to God. And in fact, it is true knowledge that will lead to devotion. That is why we are trying to gather knowledge. Because once we get that knowledge, then we can apply, right? Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. Then we understand that Vasudeva is Sarvam Iti. He is the cause of all causes. Vasudeva Krishna. Sarvam Iti. He is everything. He is the cause of all causes, right? So whenever I want to make this point clear over here that about the knowledge, give this story to everyone. Quickly, I will tell. That there was a man who was walking on the beach. Suddenly he finds a ring. He thinks it's gold and he takes it. And he looks at it looks golden ring, but he knows it's an artificial jewelry. It's lying on the beach, maybe some 30 rupees or something. Then he takes it, just puts it in his pocket, forgets about it. After a certain while, he remembers that ring is lying in his pocket, and he shows it to the friend. I was walking on the beach, I found this ring. And the friend looks at it. He happens to be a jeweler. He said, oh, wow, this is gold. Oh, wow, this is really expensive. It must be around 25,000-30,000. Okay, wow. Now, because he got this knowledge, he's thrilled that he has found something precious. Now he started wearing it on his finger. Few days by, his uncle comes over and he looks at the ring. He says, oh, wow, that stone in between this ring, it's diamond. Wow. So where did you get this? It must be around 1.5 lakhs or something. So man is completely overwhelmed. He could not believe what his uncle just said. So uncle says, you don't believe me? Fine. I will buy this for 1,40,000 or whatever. Just give me. So now he is elated. Now he knows that, okay, he has won a lottery now. He found something on the beach, and that is diamond studded gold ring. Oh my God. Now he knows its real value. So from this example, what we learn over here is the direct relationship that we are forming between the knowledge and love and the value. When the value of the ring was perceived like 20-30 rupees, the love was very low. When the knowledge increased, oh my God, it's gold, the love increased. And when the knowledge came to his mind that, okay, it's diamond studded gold ring, the value increased multiple times more, right? And the love increased many folds. And the joy he kept on increasing. So Lord Krishna is saying over here, the Jnani spent several lifetimes and several births and deaths. And then they seek this true knowledge. And once they get that knowledge, it matures into true wisdom. And then they understand, they get that love, that devotion comes, that the Supreme Lord is cause of all causes. They surrender to him. And such noble souls, anyway, he says, so some Mahatma su durlabha. Those are very rare, he says, Lord Krishna. What is the meaning of Vasudeva Sarvam Iti?
Lord Krishna is the cause of all causes.
Correct. Very nice. Yes, please. Sonali Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Those whose mind are distorted by material desire surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature.
Continue. Please.
I am in everyone's heart as the super soul. As soon as one desires to worship the demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to some particular deity.
Yes. So what Lord Krishna is saying over here, people are worshipping devatas, right, for material gains. But see, the Prime Minister of the country, he will be appointing different ministers in different places. They have some power. They can do some favor to you. But whatever is within their jurisdiction, that kind of help they can do. But ultimate power lies with the Prime Minister, right? So Lord Krishna also is appointing these devatas for different positions working in God's administration, in his creation. They get their powers from God only. They are not independent of him. And whatever little power they get, they can only bestow those to the devotees. They can only give those material things because liberation is out of their control. The birth and death is out of their control. Even Brahmaji says, that I cannot give. So Hiranyakashipu also says, he says, I cannot give you moksha, complete liberation. That is not under my jurisdiction, right? Liberation from this maya, from this cycle of birth and death is beyond their jurisdiction because they themselves are not liberated, right? So God alone has that power to do. So devatas are also souls like us. They have attained that position because of their pious deeds, previous pious deeds. So once their pious deeds finish, they will also have to come back to the earth. And if devatas are perishable, only God is eternal. So naturally, like for example, there is a CEO, then they have manager. Manager we can go and ask him for leave, right? Small things we can ask. But big things like I want a double promotion, I want very high raise in the salary, I want to become the next to CEO, manager cannot do that. You have to go to the CEO straight away, right? So whenever we see people worshipping devatas, what does Lord do? He says, okay, let the devatas fulfill your material desires. He helped them to steady their devotion. He earlier mentioned, right, that those who are in true knowledge, they engage in the highest. That's the most beneficial kind of shraddha, is to worship the Lord. But when we start thinking, why Lord, he's creating faith in people towards Devta, when he's saying that I am supreme, is it not appropriate, right? Like when we see this small children, what are they doing? They're playing with their toys. They're nicely, with a lot of love, affection, they are doing. We are also seeing that. We can easily say, what are you doing? This is just a toy. Get out. Don't do that. But no, we are quiet. We are aware that they are trying to show love and affection and how innocent the child is. We encourage them to play. Why? Because we also want them to develop the qualities of love, qualities of care, qualities of affection towards other people, right? So what does this quality? These qualities help these children to become socially responsible when they grow up. They get those values. Similarly, Krishna is our eternal parent. He also sees, he knows we are very ignorant. So when he says, okay, these souls are engaged in this so-and-so worship of Devi Devatas for material gains, okay, fine. Let them do it. He will steady our faith because he knows slowly with this experience, we will be able to, get evolution and we will move further. The soul will become further advanced. And slowly, once we reach the true knowledge, we will understand Supreme Lord is the ultimate and we will ultimately surrender to him. If we get overcome by material desires and want to surrender to demigods, what do we do?
We follow the rules and regulations of worshipping that particular demigod.
Correct. Very nice. Why does Krishna know all our desire?
Because he is the super soul living in everyone's heart.
Yes. Why devotional service to Supreme Lord and the worship of a demigod cannot be on the same platform?
Because worship of a demigod is material and devotional service to the Supreme Lord is spiritual.
Very nice, Mataji. Very nice.
Thank you.
Let's see this also. Aishwarya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Endowed with such a faith, he seeks favor of a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone.
Continue, Mataji.
Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Hare Krishna.
Similarly, yeah, Hare Krishna. Similarly, he's saying Devatas do not have the capacity to fulfill material desires. They can only grant wishes if Krishna permits it. So devotees who have little understanding, very low understanding, they may think, oh, I have got this material object. I have pleased so-and-so Devta. But it's not the Devta, it's Krishna who has facilitated everything. Lord Krishna is telling over here to Arjuna that whatever you will aim for, you will get only that. If you are worshipping Devta, you will go to the planet of Devatas. But if you worship me, you will come to my abode where you don't have to go back and get into this dukkhalayam ashashvatam, right? So question comes up in our mind, when reaching God is ultimate destination, then why is God steadying our faith in Devatas, right? So for example, if you have a kid, your kid is studying in a primary school, right? He cannot stay at that primary level forever. He has to be promoted to the next grade. So even though, of course, nursery, KG, 1, 2, everything is grade is very, very important, but students outgrow that and they keep moving higher and higher so till they reach the graduation level. Similarly, we worship Devatas. That's the primary level. But we need to outgrow that and move towards Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is not for primary school people, right? It's for understanding it spiritually. So who wants to attain Devatas, demigod planets? They are primary students. They are going over there. But those devotees who are seeking higher level, they slowly, finish all this primary level and they move on. So Devatas are perishable, fruits which they give us also are perishable. God is eternal. Whatever he will do is long lasting, everlasting. So those who worship the eternal form of God, upon death, they will attain his abode and stay with him forever. That's what Lord is explaining here. When we want to worship a demigod, what does Krishna do?
He gives
us faith to worship that day too.
Very nice. Yes, please. Sonali Mataji. Aishwarya Mataji.
Yes. I am never manifested to the foolish and unintelligent. For then I am covered by my external creative potence, Yoga Maya, and so the deluded world knows me not, who I am unborn and infallible.
Continue, Mataji.
O Arjuna, as a supreme personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now, till now, he has explained about the material energy. He explained about superior, his soul energy. But now he's talking about his third most powerful energy, which is Yoga Maya. The Yoga Maya, is internal potency, superior power, superior energy, right? So we have Yoga Maya, the internal potency, superior energy, the souls, the material energy, the Maya. So even in the present, if we are fortunate enough to see the Lord in his personal form, we will not recognize him. Because until and unless we have this divine vision, the Yoga Maya will keep the God's divine form concealed from us. We cannot see it. So what does Lord try to declare? He says, I know the past, the present, and the future. We forget, right? We don't, whatever we have thought a few hours ago also, I may not remember, right? But Lord is all knowing. So he remembers, he keeps the record of all our thoughts, all our words, all our deeds. Everything is written down completely of each and every individual soul in this world. You can imagine throughout our life, since infinite lifetimes. So he says, no one knows me, but I know everything, he says that way. To whom does Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, reveal himself as the reservoir of all pleasure?
Only for his devotees.
Correct. Okay. Let me move quickly. Yes, Sonali Mataji, is your microphone okay? Aishwarya Mataji, please continue.
O Scion of Bharta, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arising from desire and
Yes,
hate.
sir. Yes.
So
O
Srila
Scion of
Prabhupada explains
Bharata.
very nicely that our position, a real position, is to be the servitors of the Lord. We are servants of the Lord. Krishna is all knowledge. He is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. But because we are deluded by these dualities, nations, we are ignorant completely. We think that, okay, Krishna is also made from this material energy. And, we dwell in this thing of dualities, dishonor, honor, misery, happiness. He is a man, he is a woman, he is Indian, he is this, pleasure, pain, whatever. This is my wife, this is my house, this is my laptop, I am the master, I am everything. We are completely in this duality. We are so much into it. We are so foolish that way that we will definitely not understand Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why is one covered by illusion? It is due to Ichha, because of our desires and because of hatred, Tvesha. Because of this, we are covered by. The moment we remove both, we will be purified completely. Yes. Sadi bhutadi daivam mam sadi yagyam cha ye viduhu prayana kale pichamam te viduryukta chetasaha. Yes, Aishwarya Mataji.
Those who know me as the Supreme Lord, as the governing principle of the material manifestation, who knows me as the one underlining all the demigods, as the one sustaining all sacrifices, can, with steady, fast mind, understand and know me even at the time of death. Hare Krishna.
This is the last verse of 7th chapter. In this verse, Lord Krishna is mentioning that whoever is very enlightened, the soul who is very enlightened, he knows him and he is devoted to him. At the time of death also, they are in complete consciousness, in Krishna consciousness, thinking all about him. They are such true devotees. They will definitely go to his abode only. So, but how can we remember God at the time of death? Death is not so easy. It's a very painful journey, right? It's so difficult to remember God. Sometimes you may not be in that state. You may go into coma. You may have physical injuries, pain. How to remember? So answer is given over here. What is that? Constantly think of Krishna. Continuously you have to think of Krishna. So Krishna says that those enlightened beings who are completely filled with devotion about for God, intellect, mind, everything is all surrendered and all engaged, all attached to Krishna. Their bodies, what happened to their bodies? It's beyond pleasure and pain. Even at the time of death, nothing is happening to them. they are completely in that surrender mode. So they are naturally promoted to Lord's chapter, Lord's abode. So what Lord Krishna is saying is continuous practice is very important. Abhyasa is very important. So 7th chapter particularly is explaining to us how to become Krishna consciousness person, right? So we have to, what take away from this chapter is that whatever happened in the past, forget it. Wherever you are now, right now, begin from wherever you are. It's never, ever too late to start a spiritual journey, and that is back home, back to Godhead. So let's see the 7th chapter. We have to get knowledge through hearing, Shravanam. Ascending process is not correct because we have 4 limitations: cheating propensity, illusion, commit mistakes, and our senses are imperfect. So we should get knowledge through descending process, that is through disciplic succession, bona fide parampara. Then we also learned about Krishna's energy, that he is the essence of everything and he is all powerful, right? And then we learned about who accepts or rejects Krishna. So who rejects Krishna? Those who are grossly foolish, those who are lowest of mankind, deluded speculators, and professed atheists. Then who accepts Krishna? The distressed, desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and jnanis, or who is searching for absolute truth. Then we also saw demigod worship. Why do we do demigod worship? Because we have desires and we are less intelligent. And what is the result of it? What do we get out of it? Temporary and limited results. And we go to the planets of demigod. And then we also saw who can be a devotee. So who can be a devotee? Who gets pious credits from previous birth, no sins, and devotional service with determination, that can become a devotee. Vanchakalpatarubhyashta kripa sindhubhya vicha patidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much.